Hey guys, Blood Moon Bobby here, and this week I should probably be talking about the Lion King live action film's casting, but I feel this subject that I'm about to talk about is just too important to put aside, and I'm kind of ashamed that I haven't really talked about this until very recently, up until now. I know I talked about the Loud House creator Chris Savino, but I feel it's about time for me to make a video about this subject. And what sucks is whenever I hear about allegations like these, it just hurts me because when you think about the movies and TV that come from Hollywood, they can be very creative and tell you a lot about the filmmakers and the artists that make them. I mean, it's the place where movies get made by guys from Steven Spielberg to Walt Disney to Denis Villeneuve, the guy who made Arrival in Blade Runner 2049. But it's also but I shouldn't say also, but it's just a shame that Hollywood is also the place where these alleged assholes come from. So I am talking, of course, about Hollywood mogul Harvey Weinstein and actor Kevin Spacey. So let's start with Weinstein, and I'm going to give you guys a few updates. So I think we all know at this point that he has received a sexual assault, harassment, and assault allegations from 87 women, and the most recent of which comes from Boardwalk Empire actress Paz de la Huerta. Please correct me in the comments if I'm pronouncing that wrong, who accused Weinstein of raping her twice in 2010. And NYPD Chief of Detectives Robert Boyce said that de la Huerta's case is very credible because of, and he quotes, well, I should say I quote, her ability. Actually, let me start that over. And I quote, who, actually, step back a second. Like, he said that he found her case credible because of her, and I quote, ability to articulate each movement of the crime, where she was, where this happened, unquote. And Boyce even went on to say that if Weinstein was in New York right now and the allegation was more recent, he could have been arrested right away, but now they have to look for more evidence since he wasn't in New York and this was an allegation that took place 7 years ago. So, yeah, and in the case of Kevin Spacey, so Star Trek Discovery actor Anthony Rapp accused Spacey of making sexual advances toward him in 1986. What happened was Spacey invited Rapp to a party at his apartment, and this was when they were both Broadway actors. Rapp said at one point after a party, I should have said, and when Spacey got on top of him and made a sexual advance. And at the time, Spacey was 26 and Rapp was 14. So, yeah, got a bit of a pedophile situation. Now, in the case, going back to Weinstein's case, he said for a spokesperson that he denies the allegations, but in the case of Spacey, he said he doesn't remember it, but he was kind of suggesting that well, I don't know about suggesting, but he did say, in case he did it, he apologizes. So I'm going to read a tweet from Spacey, and it says, I have a lot of respect and admiration for Anthony Rapp as an actor. I'm beyond horrified to hear the story. I honestly do not remember the encounter. It would have been over 30 years ago. But if I did behave then as he describes, I owe him the sincerest apology for what would have been deeply inappropriate drunken behavior, and I am sorry for the feelings he describes having carried with him all these years. This story has encouraged me to address other things about my life. I know that there are stories out there about me, and that some have been fueled by the fact that I have been so protective of my privacy. As those close to me know, in my life I have had relationships with both men and women. I have loved and had romantic encounters with men throughout my life, and I choose now to live as a gay man. I want to deal with this honestly and openly, and that starts with examining my own behavior. So, unlike Weinstein, where his spokesperson just flat out said, no, I didn't do it, which doesn't exactly get him out of the woods, which I will talk about that. In Spacey's case, like, I feel like he's suggesting that, oh, I don't know if it happened, but it could have happened. Not saying that because he came out as gay, that doesn't mean that, like, look, not every gay relationship goes awry, but in Spacey's case, like, he's suggesting it's possible. Well, I mean, if you look at the quote again, and I mean, just the fact that, like, you know, he's suggesting that, you know, yes, adjusting his relationships, and that he says that he wants to examine his own behavior, and that, you know, he keeps so much of his life private. Like, he's suggesting here that, ooh, there's other things that we don't know. Now, does Spacey remember or want to come out and say, oh yeah, I've been an asshole in the past with other people? No, probably not. But as I kind of suspected, more people have come out and accused Spacey of harassment. And 8 employees on the House of Cards, that's the Netflix show that Spacey is a star on, have accused him of sexual harassment. They describe Spacey's behavior as, and I quote, predatory, unquote, and that it included non-consensual touching, crude comments, and he also targeted production staffers who are young and male. You know, it's kind of funny how I grew up, you know, constantly, you know, being told, well, I don't know about constantly, but I've been told that, oh, all gay people are, like, you know, people that are so, like, sex obsessed and they can't control themselves and they just want to get their hands on every guy that's in the room, which that is not at all the case. Like, I could say that, and as a person who has worked with gay people at my newspaper, and just, no. But in the case of Spacey, this is honestly the first time I've actually heard a high-profile person, like, unfortunately fit that terrible stereotype. And the thing is, like, him coming out, it's just, yeah, it's just gonna fuel the fire. I mean, here you have this guy who, you know, basically sexually assaulted, you know, a 14-year-old actor at the time. Not even, well, even if he was, you know, 18 or older, it's still inexcusable. But just, yeah, so he's gonna, yeah, so his actions basically reinforce that stereotype that I know the gay community wants to get rid of. Like, as I put it in my notes, Spacey sounds like the gay guy that Republicans hate and that good-hearted gay people hate, because that's the guy that Republicans say, oh, every gay person is like. So, I mean, just, yeah, as I think I said in my Chris Savino video, a main, like, what really convinces me if somebody has performed sexual assault is if the actual person comes out. And in the case of Spacey, he's more suggesting it than rather coming out, but it's honestly pretty convincing in that he is pretty guilty. You know, I mean, the fact that Spacey is kind of suggesting there's things about him that we don't know, and that the House of Cards, 8 House of Cards employees have come out and accused him of it, I'm honestly convinced that he's guilty. And in Spacey's case, Netflix is going to end House of Cards after its 6th season next year, and production on the 6th season itself has halted. Now, after the 8 House of Cards employees have come out and accused Spacey, it remains to be seen if production will continue. And now, the producers of House of Cards are even considering killing off Spacey's character. So, basically what I think they're trying to do is they're trying to look for ways to finish production of the show without Spacey being there. Yeah, I mean, because obviously, it's gonna be really tough for Netflix to just like straight up end House of Cards like right now, since that would be throwing away a lot of money. But at the same time, it's good to hear that they're ending production and that there's a chance they're looking for ways to not get Spacey on the set, or the producers of House of Cards, I should say. In unrelated news, the production company of House of Cards, Media Rights Capital, is considering making a spin-off series of the show, which I just hope that Kevin Spacey will not be involved. So, in Weinstein's case, his film company, the Weinstein Company, the insider has said that the company is planning to change its name at some point. And this is the real shit kicker for me when it comes to Weinstein. The Producers Guild of America has banned him for life. Weinstein had already kicked himself out, which sounds kind of suspicious. But the real shit kicker was that when the PGA just flat out kicked him out. I mean, to me, that just like shows. I'm even wondering, do the producers know something, or which, you know, obviously we don't know for sure. They didn't, as far as I know, come out and say they know for a fact that Weinstein did this and that. But that's where it goes for me, because here's the deal. When I think about companies that either try to cover up or don't really take into account their employees an asshole, usually what will happen is either the person will get fired or suspended. I think of something like the Bill O'Reilly case, for example. But if they're flat out like banning him for life, and I think if they're flat out banning him for life, it just tells me that they think it's pretty legit. You know, this isn't just the straight, because at the end of the day, pretty much every business move is a PR decision, even if it sounds moral. But if it goes beyond a simple like suspension or firing, then that's a really bad sign for me. I mean, at the end of the day, I just feel like I just gotta say, shame on these guys. I mean, because we hear about sexual advances or unwanted advances all the time in the media, and it's both eye-opening and really sad to hear that there are certain people in the industry, because they get away with it by just, they just sound nice in front of the camera, and they come off as really convincing, which that's the honest sign of a sociopath. If they come off as convincing, but they have a really filthy past. What people do in their bedrooms, yes, that's up to the person in most cases, but in cases like these, they should be found guilty. I'm not saying, put cameras in every Hollywood star's house, but it's just a shame that it's just really, well, not a shame, but it just really sucks when you hear they're able to get away with it for so long. Because in the case of, Anthony Rapp, 1986, that's 31 years. I mean, it's just amazing how, creepy, how people like Spacey and Weinstein, their personas are just that convincing that you don't see them as suspicious. I mean, yeah, because not everybody who performs sexual assault is like a very funny sounding guy on the street that does drugs. It's just that a lot of them are able to slip under a very convincing skin that they're legit people that have a heart of gold. But in the case of Kevin Spacey and Harvey Weinstein, they didn't even have a heart to begin with. So Yeah, I mean, what else can I say? I'm just really. I guess I could also, as I said in the beginning, because the thing about like me as a person who enjoys studying film, not just from Hollywood, but also, I study films from like Britain, and every once in a while my friend Steven will show me a film from Japan or South Korea. Like, I just love studying film, is that I've learned that, through the power of movies, and I feel like a lot of people in my life don't realize this, especially my family, is that, Hollywood can tell so much about people. Like, whether it's through a satire like Dr. Strangelove, or a drama like Schindler's List or Saving Private Ryan, There's so much, honestly, that can come from a movie, even more than just like a simple moral, or if a director says, as a kid, I was, the odd one out. Movies can tell you so much about people, where the world is going, and even just satirizing the idiocies in our life. But it's just a shame that Hollywood has to also share what it can do with people who use Hollywood to hide their inner demons. So, yeah, I don't know what else to say. Shame on Kevin Spacey, shame on Harvey Weinstein, and yeah, I'm honestly just so shocked that I can't even come up with much more to say. So, alright guys, this has been Blood Moon Bobby. Thanks for watching or listening if you're listening to my podcast. Hey guys, this has been a Blood Moon Bobby video. Please like this video or dislike it, and please subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.